Hello, thank you for watching this presentation. My name is Mateo Tomás. I'm a researcher at the Biodiversity Research Institute in Spain, and I will present you today our work on using GPS target vultures to monitor compliance with environmental legislation. I want to start my talk with some good news regarding the huge expansion of environmental laws and institutions that we have witnessed across the world in the last decades. However, to be effective regarding biodiversity conservation and the achievement of other objectives, these environmental laws and institutions depend on the environmental rule of law. That is, the correct implementation, enforcement, and compliance with environmental regulations and norms. In fact, the first UN report on environmental rule of law has detected several weaknesses regarding the implementation and enforcement of environmental regulations worldwide. As a result of these limitations, the environmental compliance is mostly weak or non-existent. To overcome these problems, the UN report asked to improve the monitoring of compliance. Improving compliance monitoring is key to deal with the implementation deficits, compromising the effectiveness of environmental norms. Here we saw how remote technologies open a promising avenue in this regard for using wildlife as sentinels of compliance, of monitoring compliance with environmental laws. Concretely, here we used more than 20 GPS target vultures in Spain and Portugal, griffon vultures captured in Spain and Portugal, to assess compliance with European sanitary regulations intended for feeding scavengers by allowing livestock carcass disposal in the field. Both the timeline and the criteria used for implementing these regulations, the sanitary regulations, vary across European countries and regions. In our study area, for example, Portugal has still not officially declared scavenging field zones, that is, the areas where livestock carcasses could be abandoned for feeding wildlife. Meanwhile, contrastingly, at the Spanish side of the border, farmers can leave their foreign livestock in situ since 2013 in the autonomous region of Castilla y León. Surprisingly, when we interviewed farmers in both countries, we detected a strong mismatch between the methods authorized by the implemented regulations for disposing livestock carcasses in the field and the methods actually used by farmers to get rid of dead livestock. Despite not allowed, more Portuguese farmers declared to leave livestock carcasses in the field compared with their Spanish counterparts. With these results, we decided to further check the farmers' declarations, and we visited a random sample of more than 500 feeding locations of GPS target vultures both in Spain and Portugal. Following these target vultures, we were able to detect more than 450 livestock carcasses abandoned in the field in both countries. We compared the characteristics of these carcasses with the criteria required by the sanitary regulations implemented for allowing livestock carcasses to be left in the field. These characteristics varied among administrations, that is, among countries, and even among autonomous regions within Spain, and included, for example, the carcass to be located within an officially declared scavenger field zones. Also, the carcass to be of a concrete species of a concrete age, and also the carcass to be at a minimum distance from buildings, water courses, roads, power lines, or wind farms, among other infrastructures. After checking each carcass characteristics for compliance with this criteria, we found an extraordinarily low level of compliance with the implemented regulations. For example, no carcass complied simultaneously with all the criteria requested by the regulations implemented neither in Portugal nor in the Spanish autonomous region of Castilla y León. Among the causes that could explain this weak compliance, we have identified a heavy bureaucracy burden for farmers to get the permits they need for abandoning livestock carcasses in the field. Also, we consider that the indiscriminate nature of many criteria to comply with is reducing this compliance. For example, the distances set from carcasses to water courses, power lines, or other infrastructures vary among regions, and they are set without subsequent follow-up to check their usefulness. Collaboration between environmental authorities and animal health authorities could also contribute to increase compliance. For example, increasing farmer acknowledgement of the implemented regulations. In fact, in this study area, we detected that less than 10% of the farmers were aware of the sanitary regulations implemented in their territories and therefore affecting how they get rid of livestock carcasses. Many of these criteria should therefore be eliminated from the regulations to improve the level of compliance, and overall on-ground monitoring of livestock carcasses should be put in place, for example, in collaboration with farmers to assess the effectiveness of this sanitary regulation to first conserving biodiversity through, for example, providing food to wildlife, and also to maintain public health through, for example, avoiding rotten carcasses to persist too long in the field. Our results show thus a huge potential of GPS tagged wildlife, in this case vultures, as sentinels for monitoring compliance to improve the environmental rule of law for biodiversity conservation, but also regarding other major objectives of sectoral regulation, such as, in this case, the maintenance of public health. Thank you very much for watching this presentation. Bye.